Last week, a AeroMexico flight left Mexico City en route to Seattle, and as it arrived in Seattle, it was fogged in, so the plane was diverted to Portland, Oregon. Well, being an international flight, there were no customs officials on duty in Portland, so no one could get off the plane. And the long and the short of it is, the plane sat there for 4 hours, and then eventually took off and returned back to Mexico City. You know, folks, it looks like to me Seattle wasn't the only thing that was fogged in, so was common sense. Now, what we had here is air traffic control in Seattle diverting a plane to an airport, and not an international plane yet, and not even knowing if there are customs officials there to handle the plane. I mean, if the customs officials were gone in Portland, then divert the plane to San Francisco if there's someone working there. And now on the customs official side, would you not think that the government could have called the customs officials in Portland and said, why don't you get your butts out to the airport? We've got a problem. You've got to clear a plane so these people can get off the plane and be bussed the 160 miles to Seattle. Or maybe some customs officials from Seattle could have driven the 160 miles down to Portland and cleared these people so they could have been bussed to Seattle. But either way, we had two government departments, neither one working with the other to do their job. And now we had some people write about this and say, that's why we need a passenger bill of rights. A passenger bill of rights. And what they used was, I love it, this person wrote and said, because the people, according to the Bill of Rights, said would have to be off the plane in 3 hours. Could you see this one? The Department of Transportation Bill of Rights says they have to be off in 3 hours, and U.S. Customs says they can't get off. Who do you think would win that fight? I don't think it would have been the DOT. Now, what happened during those 4 hours? Well, that's kind of interesting. A few people got ill, and so the paramedics came on board the plane and administered to those people and realized that everybody was quite hungry. So according to the Seattle paper, the paramedics went to the nearest McDonald's and got everyone a Big Mac meal and brought it back and fed it to them. Now, folks, I mean, on the lighter side, can you imagine the response of the McDonald's employees when the paramedics walked in and said, I want 150 Big Mac meals? You were supposed they said, you know, for 49 cents more, you can upsize it? Or how would you like to have had them use the drive-up and you were behind them? I mean, I think this was a great move by the paramedics. But folks, we've got a situation where the government, one department was not communicating with another department, and we certainly don't have to add a third department in on it now. I mean, in this situation, I think of Ronald Reagan's first inaugural speech when he said, my fellow Americans, government is not the answer to the problem, government is the problem. I'm Terry Tripler, and that's my view.